What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my Let's Play slash vlog kind of deal. In the last part, we talked about two of my more favorite things, as a fan. Well, one of my more favorite things as a fan. The other thing, there's so much controversy over that. There's no right opinion about, how YouTube's doing the whole comment system. It's all up for interpretation. But anyway, I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm gonna start that right out. I'm a big wrestling fan, or was a big wrestling fan until they found out I could barely see out one of my eyes. And here's the thing: I used to watch Raw, SmackDown all the time. I watch really old stuff. I like watching old Nitros and old WCW pay-per-views. If somebody on YouTube had, like, I don't know, Fall Brawl 99 or Bash at the Beach 2000, I'll watch it because at that point I kind of like the whole history of wrestling from that time frame in my childhood. Some of the stuff I was missing out, because at their peaks, I was a massive fan of video games, and I'm a big fan of older video games like PS2 and 4, and I'm a big fan of, like, that 90s style wrestling where we're getting away from all that corny, Hulk Hogan, Hacksaw Jim Duggins, and all that stupid crap, and we're going into more the edgy stuff, guys like Stone Cold, guys like Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio, and we're getting exposed to these luchadors and Japanese guys like Ultimo Dragon, and the list goes on and on. So, if nothing else, there are two things I won't miss: Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Even though, last year's Royal Rumble turned me into a casual viewer of wrestling because I hated the fact that Punk dropped the belt to Rock. Rock was only going to show up a short time frame. Like, you could have had Punk drop to anybody. Like, you could have had him drop to John Cena, like, okay, he's gonna be here 10 years from now. Rock's not gonna be here, after WrestleMania. He's gonna get up and leave after WrestleMania. So, anyway, with the whole road to WrestleMania coming up after Survivor Series, after tables, ladders, and chairs, or was that past? I'm not sure. But anyway, they're planning who's gonna win the Royal Rumble, who's gonna be in the main event, WrestleMania, who's gonna fight for a World Heavyweight Championship, and all that jazz. And with all that, they gotta figure out who's gonna go in the Hall of Fame next year. We got a lot of big names that should have been in there a long time ago get put in the Hall of Fame. Last year we had Bob Backlund, we had Bruno Sammartino, which Sammartino hated Vince McMahon Jr., not Senior. He loved Senior. Loved the fact that he got 10-year title run, probably the longest run in title runs in WWE history. We also got guys who should have been in there for a while. Mick Foley, Trish Stratus. Now, I got my own personal list of guys. Everybody else is gonna have their own personal list of guys. So I'm gonna, I want everybody in the comments mention 5 guys you would really like to see go in the Hall of Fame. Look up online, make sure none of those guys that are on your list have already been put in the Hall of Fame. Now, my 5, some of them are going to be easy targets. Others are going to be like, why him? He did nothing. Okay. So, my 5 guys. First and foremost, it's an easy target, but I don't think, they're going to put them in until they go, fuck it, put the whole family in. Macho Man Randy Savage. Macho Man Randy Savage had a bad falling out with WWE, and it's all because of accusations that Macho Man Randy Savage had sex with Stephanie McMahon when she was a minor. Now, here's the thing. That was a good 10-20 years ago. That wasn't recent. So, I think it's about time we put him in there. God rest his soul. But his last wish... Now, one of his last wishes was that he wanted... If he was going to go into WWE Hall of Fame, he wanted the whole family in. Now, here's the thing that I personally would say puts him over, over the top for them to go in the Hall of Fame. You put the Von Erichs into the Hall of Fame. The only Von Erich out of that whole family that went to WWE and did anything was, I believe, Kerry Von Erich. He became Intercontinental Champion, and he was one-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. The thing was, he didn't hold that title for very long. So, there's pretty much my number 1 pick for Hall of Fame. Number 2, Jake the Snake Roberts. Now, if you ask me about 5 or 10 years ago when he was in really rough shape, I would still say, based on his body of work, he should still go in the Hall of Fame. But this guy, it wouldn't be right to put him in there over other guys such as, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, and the list goes on and on. So, here's the thing with Jake the Snake. I think it would be the best comeback story. He said he wanted to wrestle in the Royal Rumble. So, here, somebody posted this idea, and I thought it would be a really cool idea. Have him in there with a guy like Heath Slater. Have him land a couple of jabs, have him land the DDT, throw him over the top rope, and eliminate him. Now, the reason why I said Heath Slater was because they've had Heath Slater work with a bunch of legends before when they did that whole, Legends episode or something like that. They had him work with Sid, who I think was in 2000 when he landed one move. He screwed up his leg so bad that he pretty much couldn't wrestle full time anymore. Yeah, they had him wrestle APA, Bob Backlund, Tony the Clown, and the list goes on and on. And that's why you have him work with him. He can bump well, he can sell well, and, at the end of it, you have the rest of 3MB or the Union Jacks, whatever you want to call them. Gently throw him over the top rope. Number 3, I have Lita. I am surprised she's not in the Hall of Fame already. I think her body of work is a lot better than Trish Stratus, but Trish Stratus was more or less, more important because of how many titles she won. I think Lita deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame. Edge is in the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure Christian is going to be eventually. Hardy Boys. Jeff, I would probably put in there, but more as a tag team. But I would definitely say Lita, at this point, should really get a spot in the Hall of Fame. Great talent. She's wrestled some really good matches amongst the likes of Victoria, Mickie James, Trish Stratus. And she's had some great feuds. She's been involved in some pretty dang good storylines. And all around, she's just an awesome talent. Now, the next person, it's more because of a lifetime achievement kind of deal. He really only works part-time. Now, William Regal. Now, the reason why I say William Regal is, one, because he was part of the whole undercard for the whole Monday Night War, and when they brought him into WWE, he was a great undercard worker. Now, here's the thing about that. If I say a guy like that, then you could say, oh, there were so many other great undercard workers who weren't good enough for the main event, Rick Martel being one of them. But Rick Martel didn't stay out there all that long. Rick Martel was more of a job guy than anything. William Regal was like this tuner guy who worked really good in the undercard, but he didn't have enough charisma, and I don't think he really connected with the fans good enough for him to merit going into a Hall of Fame. But that's just on those merits. on the other merits, you know, he still works with WWE. He's loyal. He's committed. He's this and that. Plus, he's gone back to rehab. He had some problems with alcohol and drugs, but because it's nature of the beast. But I would definitely say he deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame. So let's see. We have Macho Man, Jake the Snake, Lita, and William Regal. Now, finally, Scott Hall. Scott Hall was charismatic. I think if he would have cleaned himself up and he did what he was told, and he didn't get into like all the backstage politics of the Clique and the NWO were bad for Hall. And I'll tell you why they didn't do nothing to help curb his drug problems, his alcohol problems, and that's why he ended up so screwed up as he was. Thank God Diamond Dallas Page came in, and you know, he's working on fixing him up. You know, he's got him sober. He's been sober for a while now. He helped crowdfund him to get his hip replaced. But I think he would definitely, you know, merit going in Hall of Fame. He had awesome matches he had pretty good matches with Bret the Hitman Hart, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Owen Hart. He's what embodies, besides Kurt Hennig and Bret Hart, what embodies, you know, their Continental Championship. Like, yeah, Pat Patterson's already in there, Pedro Morales is already in there, Tito, Greg Valentine, Bret Hart. I'm trying to think of who else. It really embodied that title, Mr. Perfect. I think it's about time, you know, Scott Hall got a shot at, you know, getting into the Hall of Fame. But that's just me. That's all up for interpretation. I really do hope, you know, he gets in there on his own merits. Not because he was a member of the Clique. Not because he was a member of the original 3 NWO. But I think he deserves a spot, you know, on his own 2 feet. On its own merits. He had good matches. He had charisma. He had the mic skills. He had virtually everything. It's just that he couldn't keep himself clean and keep himself out of trouble. So that's it for me. I want to know what you guys think should be in Hall of Fame. Leave it to about 5, and in the next episode, I will well, in a later episode, I'll mention some of the guys who you guys mentioned should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. So that's it for me. I will see you all later. Have a nice day.